Hearing for May 13, 2025. If you do wish to speak today, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you all swear and affirm to speak the truth at today's hearing? Yes. Thank you. And silence all electronic devices, please.
Good morning, everyone. Our first case, page 37. Inspector Edward Eason, case number CE 2309-0695, case address 700 Southwest 4th Place, owner Scott Eric Jordan and Aaron Mary Myers. This case was first heard 3/28/24 to comply by 6/27/24. 2 suspensions noted on the agenda. 1 section complied at $100 per day, $6,000 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount, and this is in order to reappear.
Good morning. Edward Eason, City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 2309-0695 for the address of 700 Southwest 4th Place. At the January 14th, 2025 hearing, Special Magistrate Cannon granted a 119-day extension and in order to reappear at today's hearing. Violation 8-91C complied on 4/26/25. The city is requesting full imposition of fines.
Please state your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Erin Myers. I'm the co-owner with my husband of our property. We have been working since then, essentially, to get permitting through the City of Fort Lauderdale, through the Marine Advisory Board, and through the Historic Society, because Sailboat Bend's historical, in order for us to get permission to actually touch anything back there. So we did, well, temporarily, they just flagged it again, so everything is a halt. But in the interim, we were able to get the dock taken down. So we're just asking for some help with the fines. Like, we've been working, as I'm sure you know, getting permitting through the city and all the things. It takes a very long time.
Okay, all right. Do you know what costs are in this case?
Admin costs $792.
Okay, have they been diligent in?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm going to reduce the fine to $1,000.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Our next case, page 27. Inspector Guy Siderman, case number CE 2409-0753, case address 824 Northwest 15th Avenue, owner YN Investments LLC. This case was first heard 1/30/25 to comply by 9/30/25, 1/18/25, 9/30/24, 1/18/25, and 2/27/25. 2 sections complied at $50 per day, $1,500 accrued, $37,300 imposed, and the city is requesting the full amount of $1,500.
Guy Siderman, City of Fort Lauderdale, Code Compliance Officer, presenting case CE 240-90753 for the property located at 824 Northwest 15th Avenue. The case was first heard on 1/30/2025. The magistrate ruled in favor for the city, and the property owner was ordered to correct violations 9 TAC 308B and 9 TAC 280H1 by 2/27/2025. Violation 18.1 was complied prior to the hearing. Violations 1812A, 9 TAC 306, 9 TAC 304B, and 9 TAC 305B were all repeat violations, and fines of $37,300 were imposed. The remaining violations at this property were brought into compliance on 3/14/2025. The 2 violations were not compliant for 15 days with a fee of $50 per day for a total of $4,850 currently due. The city is requesting full imposition of fines of $4,850 currently due.
Okay. I'm confused. I have different numbers. Am I on the right page? Yeah. I have 1,500 in the box there and 37,300 already imposed. So what is the current fine before me?
Looks like the city's requesting a full amount of $37,300 imposed.
$37,300 special magistrate was imposed on January 30th, 2025. The remaining fines are $1,500 that we're asking to be imposed today.
Okay, all right. Please state your name for the record.
Shai Nissim.
Okay, why did it take so long to bring this property into compliance?
So what happened last year, we had an issue with the mailing address. I didn't receive the citation on time and my tenant didn't notify me. As soon as I received it, I spoke to Guy, we fixed all the violation. And then last year, we had the neighbor called and made a complaint. Then Guy went back and then it was a repeat violation. Again, I asked to update my mailing address and it was not in the system. I wasn't aware of the situation that it was repeated. My tenant again didn't notify me. Obviously, I'm the one that's responsible. I'm the property owner. As soon as I found out on March, I spoke to Guy. We invested over $15,000 in repairing everything in the property. We applied for a concrete driveway so that violation will not occur again in the future. So this is the reason everything was delayed. Every time, as soon as I got notified, I fixed the violation within a week or two.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you a question. Because these fines have been imposed, is he entitled to go back now that he's in compliance to the amnesty program for the $37,300? Okay. All right. All right. So I am going to impose a fine today of $1,200 because of the repeat nature of the fines. But I will encourage you to avail yourself of the amnesty program. Now that the property's in compliance and you did all the work on it, you can apply for amnesty and you can get that $37,300 reduced to just a few $1,000s, really.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case, page 35. Inspector Shaquan Kendrick, case number CE 2409-0067, case address 6916 Northwest 29th Avenue, owner John W. Garces. This case was first heard 2/11/25 to comply by 2/21/25, 3/11/25, and 4/8/25. 3 sections not complied at $50 per day, $8,950 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount and the fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Inspector Kendrick from the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 24090067, address 6916 Northwest 29th Avenue. This case was first heard on 2/11/2025, and the property was ordered time to correct the following violations: 18-12A, a compliance date of 2/21/2025, 9-304B, a compliance date of 3/11/2025, and 9-305B, a compliance date of 4/8/2025. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 5/12 and found that property has not been brought into compliance as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting the full imposition of fines and fines to continue to accrue.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is John Garces. I am the property owner.
Okay, Mr. Garces, why is it taking so long to bring this property into compliance?
When I came before the magistrate last time, I told him I could concentrate on the leaves on the roof, and that was given a date. And when I contacted the inspector several times. He did not come out until, he did not contact me until March 3rd that he was coming out to reinspect. I did not get any information from that reinspection regarding the leaves on the roof. Now, I have complied with the leaves on the roof. They've been taken care of for a while. The other violations are related to the leaves on the ground, and I've removed the leaves on the ground. I cannot put ground cover because we have been in a drought situation. I do not have the money to do sod. I can do seed, but in order to do seed, I need rain, and we have been in a drought situation for months. So that's why I have not been able to comply with the ground covers. Not sure what else we're talking about in terms of violations. Those are the two main things that I know that I'm trying to react.
It looks like in addition to the dead and missing ground cover, the driveway has weeds growing through the pavers and is not well graded, and there's still one saying that there's trash, rubbish, and debris in the swale area.
There is not trail in the swell area, and like I said, I've maintained the ground. I can get testimony or my neighbors saying that I'm out there every Sunday. I only have Sundays to work on this and Saturdays. But like I said, this is the first time I'm being recalled here, and if inspections have been done after that February date, I have not been contacted by the inspector. The inspector has a 4-day, 10-hour work schedule, which includes Sundays. I am home on Sundays. So if he's re-inspected on a Sunday, he can ring the doorbell and I would have been answered to deal with it face to face.
Yeah, that's, anything else?
Regarding the leaves on the roofs, that violation was complied. So I'm not sure if he thinks that the leaves on the roofs is still out of compliance, but that was complied. Also, the missing ground cover, he stated that he cleaned up the leaves. However, and depicted in the photo, the leaves is continuous to be there every day. The debris are the leaves. It's not trash, it's leaves. And the driveway is not been pressure cleaned or it's stained and dirty.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 28 days, and I'll suspend the fines during that time. You need to, if you don't understand all of the violations that are still pending, have a word with the inspector before you leave here so you're both on the same page and you don't have to try to schedule an appointment. And then once you've done everything, then call him and he'll come out and inspect, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case, page 13, Inspector Jessica Martinez, Gail Williams presenting case number CE 2501-0775, case address 818 Northeast 4th Avenue, owner Flagler Property Owner LP, posted at property 5125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. Senior Officer Gail Williams presenting for City of Fort Lauderdale for case CE 250-10775, address 818 Northeast 4th Avenue. This case was first inspected on January 22nd, 2025, and the following violations were observed. 47-21.16.A, there is a dead tree stump on the property. 18-1, there is graffiti on the chain link fence at this property that is creating a public nuisance. It is being maintained in such manner that the property may adversely affect and impair the economic welfare or adjacent properties. This is a reoccurring violation, reference case CE 2407-0284. This case will be presented to Special Magistrate seeking a finding of fact whether compliance is met or not. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and litter and debris on this property and a swell. This is a reoccurring violation, reference case CE 240-0284. This case will be presented to Special Magistrate seeking a finding of fact whether compliance is met or not. 9-305, parentheses A, there is growth of landscape material along with an accumulation of leaves encroaching upon the public right-of-way, the sidewalk and swell area. This is a reoccurring violation, reference case CE 24070284, and will be presented to Special Magistrate seeking a finding of fact whether compliance is met or not. 9-280, parentheses H, parentheses 1, the fence at this property is in disrepair and is not being maintained as required. The fence is leaning over, the chain link is detached from its poles, and there are ripped windscreens folded over the fence. This is a reoccurring violation, reference case CE 24070284, and will be presented to Special Magistrate seeking a finding of fact whether compliance is met or not. A pre-hearing inspection in the photos. At this time, the city is requesting 56 days for compliance or a fine of $100 per day thereafter for each violation.
Please state your name for the record.
Christopher Suarez, and I'm an employee of the property owner.
Okay. Are you in agreement to bring the property into compliance within 56 days or face a fine of $100 a day?
Yes, we.
Okay. All right, so let me explain to you what it means that I'm going to enter a finding of fact on a recurring violation. That means if it happens again, it'll come back in front of me as a repeat violation, and you would be automatically fined. So you're not going to be fined today, and you won't be fined for the next 56 days, unless you do not bring the property into compliance. But if it happens again, you will be fined. Do you understand?
And if we bring it into compliance and there's an issue with graffiti at the property, let's say in 60 days, do we get automatically
then you'll be fined for those 4 days.
So can we have, an additional 30 days without the additional fines? Because this is a repeat issue at the property.
Yeah, why is
I just want to clarify, because we never received notice of this. It's being sent to our corporate office in Washington, D.C., and I have a post-date letter with me from May 8th for this hearing.
Whoever address is with the property appraiser's office. If you want a different address, you have to change it.
Okay. I have just a question to understand how the fines work, because we've had an issue prior to my involvement with this, and I understand our company complied, worked with the inspector, Gus, at the time. So we will correct this. Once we're notified, we will correct it. But there seems to be a reoccurring issue with our fence. And so if we get complied, is there a way for myself to be, if the inspector comes out, can they contact us via phone or any other means? I just want to ask this question because it's kind of we can't control the neighborhood necessarily, and people graffitiing on the fence.
Yes, I can give you my card afterwards.
Okay.
And when you come in compliance prior to the 56 days, you can contact me.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so 56 days or $100 a day. If you run into a problem, like you have to fix the fence, you decide to replace it, you need a permit, make sure you keep in touch with the inspector.
Yeah.
You can ask for more time, but for at this point, you get 56 days. The fines begin to run on the 57th day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And just also for clarity of the record, the notices are going to continue to go to McLean, Virginia, because that's what's on the property appraiser's website.
Yeah, I'll see if we can change that.
Yeah.
Thank
okay.
you.
All right. Thank you.
Our next case, page 32. Inspector Bernstein Sambert, Matthew Flesher, presenting case number CE 2402-0419, case address 1209 Southwest 20th Street, owner Kelly Callagher. This case was first heard 6/27/24 to comply by 9/26/24. One suspension from 11/12/24 to 1/14/25. Two sections complied at $50 per day. $8,000 accrued. The city is requesting $1,068, and this is also to vacate the order imposing fine of January 30th and rehear.
Good morning. This is Matthew Flesher with the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 24020-419 at address 1209 Southwest 20th Street. This case was first heard on June 27, 2024, to comply by September 26, 2024 for the following violations: 47-19.2.hh.ii.1 was complied. 47-21.15.a was complied. The city is requesting the admin costs of $1,068.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Kelly Kelleher.
Okay, sir, are you in agreement with reduction to city costs of $1,068?
I am.
Okay, all right, so we'll vacate the prior order and re-enter an order for $1,068. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next case, page 34, Inspector Edward Eason, case number CE 2407-0123, case address 1455 Southwest 10th Street, owner Gregory and Deborah L. Caliste. This case was first heard 9/26/24 to comply by 10/6/24 and 10/24/24. One suspension from 1/14/25 to 4/8/25. 3 sections complied at $50 per day. $13,800 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount.
Good morning, Inspector Edward Easton, City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 2407-0123 for the address of 1455 Southwest 10th Street. At the January 14, 2025 hearing, Special Magistrate Cannon granted an 84-day extension. Violation 9-305A complied on 4/9/25 out of compliance for 83 days. Violation 9-305B complied on 3/31/25 out of compliance for 92 days. Violation 18-12A complied on 4/9/25 and out of compliance for 101 days. The city is requesting full imposition of fines.
Please state your name for the record.
Gregory Caliste.
Why did it take so long to bring this property into compliance?
A special magistrate. I've had numerous health issues, lack of income. My wife is the only one that's working in the household, so that's why it took that long.
Okay. All right, I will reduce the fine to $1,200. $1,200.
Is there a time frame in order to pay that?
I can't hear you. You have to speak into the mic.
Is there a time frame to pay that $1,200?
You'll get an order in the mail. I don't.
I don't know what the process is.
It's 30 days.
12. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, so it was originally $13,800, so I'm taking your circumstances into account.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Our next case, page 38, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 24100489, case address 3716 Southwest 14th Street, owner Paul and Veronique Leclerc. This case was first heard 1/14/25 to comply by 5/13/25. One section not complied at $50 per day. Fines start 5/14/25, and this is in order to reappear.
This is Matthew Flesher with the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 241000489 at address 3716 Southwest 14th Street. The case was first heard January 13, 2025 to comply by May 13, 2025 for the following violations: 18-4C complied, 9-278E complied, 47-34.1.A.1 complied, 9-306 complied, and 9-304B not complied. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 11, 2025, and the violation 9-304B remained. This is in order to reappear.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Veronique Leclerc.
Okay, looks like you made a pretty good start, got most of it done, but we
Yes.
still have one more violation to cure.
Yes, ma'am, and this is what's going on. As I told you all before, in January, I'm the only one. I work 105 hours a week. I'm a bartender. I work 2 different jobs. He's sick. To keep me on my toes, he goes and has heart attacks periodically. So there's that. I know. You know, and then we have custody of our grandson who has Asperger's, and he's 11. So it's me. I know, it is what it is, but it could be worse, so we're okay. And I had told you before in January that we had just thought we had got a deal on mortgage. I talked to Matthew about this, and it wasn't, and we were stuck. So I finally got somebody that would listen to me, and they got me an exception. So we're signing papers of intent today for a new mortgage. And he said with everything, because we had that we should be able to get this through within the next 30 to 45 days. And then, because nobody wants this stuff done more than me. Seriously. I mean, it just...
How much time do you think you need?
With my luck, I'm just going with the odds. 90 days, could we do that? I mean, we've got the quotes. Yeah, and it's just as soon as we sign the paperwork, we can tell them, please start filing for the permits. No, but
Okay, any objection to 91 days? All right, I'm going to give you 91 days.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very
what
much.
I'm going to tell you is that if you run into a problem, make sure you contact the inspector.
Yes, ma'am.
And request additional time. You know,
Yes, ma'am.
sometimes permitting can get hung up or whatever.
Oh, no, yes, ma'am.
So just make sure you keep in touch with the
Yeah, no, again, nobody wants this done more than me.
Okay,
You know,
I
so I'm
appreciate
trying.
that.
I really am. Thank
I
you so
see
much
that,
for being
ma'am.
so
I see that.
for being
Good
so
luck
patient
to
with
you.
us. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.
You're welcome.
Our next case, page 39, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 2411-0550, case address 2467 Cat K Lane, owner Matthew E. Neville and Lindsay A. Woodruff. This case was first heard 2/11/25 to comply by 5/13/25. One section not complied at $50 per day. Fine start 5/14/25, and this is in order to reappear.
This is Matthew Flesher with the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 2411-0550 at address 2467 Cat K Lane. The case was first heard on February 11, 2025, to comply by May 13, 2025 for the following violation. 47-21.16.a is not complied. A pre-hearing inspection on May 11, 2025, and the violation 47-21.16.a remained. This is in order to reappear.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Matthew Evan Neville.
Okay. What steps have you taken to get rid of that tree?
Well, I had all the overhanging dangerous branches removed. In the process of starting the removal of the tree, well, currently you guys were aware that we had bees, a giant bee's nest in there. We've had a really hard time finding someone to address the bee's nest in there. I also found a family of raccoons living in the lower section of the tree. So I have addressed the dangerous overhanging branches that, you know, may affect anybody in a storm. My stepdad is an arborist. I had him come out and do a preliminary cut on the base of the tree to check to see the status of it. The tree still is alive. So essentially we're just trying to figure out how to move forward with this, you know, having wildlife in the tree and the tree still being alive. You know, we're just trying to figure out if we're able to leave what's there and see how it continues further.
Okay.
I haven't had contact with the landscape department since the tree has started to get removed, but originally they did say that the tree was dead and the tree needed to be removed.
Looks like there's stuff growing out of it.
That whole stalk, that's vertical stalk, that's a giant bee's nest. And you know, we have a garden in our backyard and neighbors, we have, you know, surrounding gardens. And
Magistrate?
I don't want to kill bees. You know, they're so important to our environment, and we're just really having a hard time with getting someone that is willing to go. Because the top of that tree, I had a man lift up there, and that's probably 25, 30 feet. And most people that deal with bees don't want to deal with anything like that.
Magistrate?
Yes.
Supervisor Brown, City of Fort Lauderdale. We could do a 56-day extension, and we can have our city's landscaping department look at the tree again, and if they do say indeed it still is dead, you were unable to mitigate whatever you tried to mitigate, then you will have to continue on with the removal.
Okay.
All right, so that was the exact number I had in my head. So I'll give you a 56-day extension, and I'll suspend the fines during that period of time. So make sure you keep in touch with everybody, get somebody out there to take a look at it and decide whether the tree's alive,
Okay.
dead, or what you need to do with it.
Who do I need to have, or am I going to coordinate with you on having someone come look at the tree? I mean,
Yeah, so after this, I'll get in contact with the landscape department and request somebody. And then let me get your email from you right after this, and then I'll CC you in it.
Okay, perfect.
What companies have you tried for removal? Because I just Googled bee removal Fort Lauderdale, and I come up with lots of companies, and they all say humane relocation. Because I agree with
there's
you.
plenty of people we've contacted, and most of them, once you tell them that the bee's nest is 20 feet in the air, over 20 feet in the air, they're like, oh, I don't really do that. We did have one guy that we were in communication with. He came and looked at it, but then he kind of gave us a really astronomical number to remove it, and they're like, and I don't want to, personally, I would love to leave the nest there because we have gardens, and they're, finding the raccoons in the tree, having a nest in there, I was like, the tree is supporting life to the environment as well. So that's,
All right,
I understand, that's why I cut down as much as we could to make sure that we weren't opposing any danger to the neighbors, and that was, main objective, but.
Okay. All right, so 56 days, make sure you get with them and the other department.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our next case, also page 39, Inspector Rachel Moore, case number CE 2407-0187, case address 1216 Southwest 39th Avenue, owner Crown One LLC. This case was first heard 11425 to comply by 12425, 12925, 21125, and 51325. One section complied at $100 per day. 3 sections not complied at $100 per day for a total of $25,200, and this is in order to reappear.
Good morning, Inspector Rachel Moore for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case just read in. This case was first brought before the Special Magistrate on 11425. At the Special Magistrate hearings, Special Magistrate Cannon ordered 15 days to comply, or $250 per day thereafter for violation 9-363. For the violation of 9-306, 119 days to comply, or $100 per day thereafter. For violation 47-19.4.d.8, 28 days to comply, or $100 per day thereafter. And for all remaining violations, Special Magistrate Cannon ordered 10 days to comply, or $100 per day thereafter. As a pre-hearing inspection dated 5/12/25, the violation of 47-19.4.d.8 dumpster enclosure maintenance and 9-306 exterior maintenance remains out of compliance. The city is requesting full imposition of fines. However, the property owner is here to speak.
Please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Angel Vargas.
Okay, why is it taking so long to bring this property into compliance?
There was like 9 violations. They were all done except one, which was the enclosure for the dumpster. I was asked to bring that enclosure up to date, which it was. I wasn't aware of the garbage inside that, they're just throwing around the dumpster instead of the inside the dumpster. So I've been speaking to the tenants. They say people from the buildings next door walk by, they throw garbage, then they don't want to pick up other people's garbage. I've been in contact with Ms. Moore, and I told her that I was going to try and find someone that would do maintenance, which would go once a week. If there's anything thrown around the dumpster, they would put it in the dumpster and keep the inside of that area done. But the outside enclosure is done. The only other outstanding one is the paint on the building. And the only reason that's not done, Ms. Moore also knows that I'm in the middle of permitting for plumbing work that's going to break open the side of the building. So if I send to paint that building and then they break open my walls again, I have to paint the building again. And only because the permitting keeps getting kicked back is the reason that's not done. But I have been back and forth with permitting since before I was even not in compliance, trying to get that plumbing work done.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you an extension on the exterior walls of 91 days.
Thank you.
If the dumpster enclosure, like you said, is done and she can comply that part, I'll give 10 days for her to go out and to re-inspect. But there's going to be no more extensions on the sofa, coolers, chairs, et cetera, that's out there.
But those are gone.
Okay. Okay. All right. Doesn't say that on mine. Oh, okay. All right. That's gone. Okay. All right. So you'll get 91 days for the walls, but only 10 days for the enclosure, and I'll suspend fines during those periods.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case, page 37, Inspector Shaquan Kendrick, case number CE 24120178, case address 5910 Northeast 18th Avenue, owner Imperial Point Holdings LLC. This case was first heard at 4/8/25 to comply by 5/13/25. Two sections not complied at $100 per day. Fines start 5/14/25, and this is in order to reappear.
Inspector Kendrick with the City of Fort Lauderdale presenting case CE 241-20178, address 5910 Northeast 18th Avenue. This case was first heard on 4/18/2025 with an order to reappear for violation 9-280C. The common walkway at this property is not being maintained in a safe condition. There are uplifting pavers causing an unsafe passage for pedestrians. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 5/12/2025. The area is observed to be secured. The city is requesting 91 days for violation 9-280C or $100 per day thereafter.
Okay, say that again.
The city is requesting 91 days for violation 9-280C or $100 per day thereafter.
Okay, what about 9-306?
9-306 is still out of compliance. The property owner here to request an extension for that violation.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. My name is Marcos Espinal, representing Imperial Point Holdings.
Okay, it looks like you've complied a good many of these, but there's two left, and that's that walkway area and the exterior walls.
That's correct, your Special Magistrate. What we're looking for is more time because the walkway specifically is caused by the trees that have invasive root system that's bringing up all the pavement. So we've secured the area for the time being to comply with that part of it, and asking for 6 months to be able to deal with the city about removal. We have to remove the trees, and that's an ordeal in itself. And then we have to basically repave. Our goal is to repave the whole entire front of the property, which is a major endeavor. And we're looking for enough time for that to be able to bring the property to its full potential, as well as the side of the wall, the painting. There was loose paint, which is the other case. So we want to basically combine them and get 6 months altogether so that we can redo the whole entire property, because it's quite a large property. It's 11,000 square feet. And we want to paint the whole entire building, not just merely come into compliance.
Special Magistrate. Yeah. Hi, Supervisor Lord, City of Fort Lauderdale. At this time, we request to stick to the 91 days. At the last hearing, he came up there and he pretty much said the same thing. However, there's been no permit application submitted, in the system. So we can give 91 days with an order to reappear, and if at that time he's submitting a permit application and is going through the process, then we can consider giving more time.
Okay, do you want an order to reappear?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's reasonable because, you know, this is the same condition it was in before the last hearing. So 91 days, you're going to reappear on my August 12th docket, and I'll suspend the fines during that time.
Yeah, it's only been because there's been so many violations, and as you can see, we've been tackling them one by one.
Yeah, and I think you know, I'm not saying you're not being diligent, but we have to see progress on everything, you know, in order to be able to continue to work with you.
Okay.
All
no
right,
problem.
thank you.
All right, have a great day. Thank you.
Our next case, page 4, Inspector Robert Kroc, case number CE 2503-0856, case address 545 Northeast 13th Street, owner Queen Progress Investments, Inc., posted at property 42725, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Inspector Robert Kroc presenting on behalf of the city, case number CE 2503-0856. Case address is 545 Northeast 13th Street. This property was first inspected on 03/29/2025 following a neighbor complaint about loud noise/music, and the following violation was observed. There is noise in excess of the permissible sound limits of 50 dBA and 60 dBc for residential area property after 10 p.m. I arrived at the complaint property at 534 Northeast 13th Court in reference to a loud music at headquarters. The amplified sound could be heard from 545 Northeast 13th Street. 6 decibel readings were taken from the property of the complainant. 3 30-second dBA readings read as 77, 77, and 77. And 3 30-second dBc readings of 98, 97, 97. All these readings exceed the maximum decibel levels of 50 dBA and 60 dBc for a residential area after 10 p.m. This is also a repeat violation of CE 2503-0656.
Okay.
These are the dBc readings, so these are extremely high. These measuring the bass levels, they're clearly very loud.
Okay.
The city is requesting a $1,000 fine.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lisandra Gonzalez. I'm here representing the landlord. This is a commercial building. I think I heard residential, and the picture is showing the tenant's house, residence, not the premises.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So just because your property is commercial, we take it from the complainant's property, which is a residential property, right? And it being after 10 p.m., it doesn't matter that you're a commercial property.
So
and your property is within the fact that it's 200 feet between the two properties, less than, then doesn't matter either because it's so loud.
No, I understand. I just wanted to clarify that if that was the tenant's residence, because one of my questions is, why was the landlord responsible if the tenant was the one under their lease? They were supposed to.
You're responsible because it's your property.
Okay,
regardless.
understood.
It's not the tenant.
I'm asking because
Yeah.
they're going to question
You're
me as well.
responsible for the tenant, and the city makes you responsible for the property.
Understood.
And since it was coming from that property, you're responsible.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, and in light of the fact that this is a repeat violation, I'm going to impose the fine of $1,000.
I also wanted to mention that I got the read from the sheriff. The tenant was evicted. This noise happened within 2 days. The last two happened within 2 days apart from each other. We speculate that this is because they knew they were going to be evicted, so they went over their limits. I also have here that they own the landlord a delinquency of over $45,000, plus landlord had to cover or attorney's fee in order to remove the tenant from the premises.
Okay.
Special Magistrate, just a point of clarification. They have another case that's going to be coming back as well that happened during this time of eviction. I spoke to them and let them know, this is not their first violation. This is their fourth now.
It's a total of 4.
So the property owner should be well aware whether or not they were going through the eviction process that their tenant was causing this ruckus, and we would ask that the $1,000 fine stay in place.
Well, as soon as we were aware of the situation, we paid the first fine for $500, and the tenant wasn't on the premises at the time. Then when we find out the last two, then we started communications with the city in order to be in compliance.
What you have to understand is regardless of what the tenant does, the property owner is still responsible. And if this is a 4th or 5th violation, it justifies a fine.
I understand, and I agree, and I appreciate the fine that you're giving me.
All right, $1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Our next case, page 24, Inspector Fitzgerald Simmons, case number CE 2503-0616, case address 3801 Tennessee Avenue, owner James P. Crown. This case was first cited 32125 to comply by 32125. One section complied at $500 per day for a total of $500. Appeal deadline was 4/5/25. Citation appeal was received.
Code Officer Fitzgerald Simmons presenting on behalf of the City of Fort Lauderdale. This property was first inspected on March 21st, 2025, following a neighbor complaint via C-Click Fix number 186-10614 regarding loud music, and the following violations were observed. Section 17-7.1.a, there is amplified sound coming from this residential property that is plainly audible from 25 feet away after 10 p.m. This violation is irreversible in nature. The city is seeking a one-time fine. This concludes my testimony.
And Your Honor, for the record, I believe the video may have reflected, and if not, the inspector can testify as to the time that he was there.
It's inside the case file. Can you please go to the PDF file that says, violation amplified sound at the bottom? Yes. Scroll down, please. Up a little bit. There you go. In addition to that, there's a map inside. Can you exit that? Yes. Can you go to, yes, audible distance? Scroll down. Took it from the middle of the road, which is 31 feet from the property line. In addition to that, the complainant, can you exit that file and go to complainant's info? So the complainant doesn't, the listed complainant on C-Click Fix doesn't own the property. He resides there. So I was able to take his phone number and link it back to his name and address to support that he's the valid complainant. This concludes my testimony.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. My name is Demetrius Walker. I'm the tenant at the home. I have documentation from James Brown that allows me to speak on his behalf.
Okay. All right. What do you want me to tell me in support of the appeal?
That was actually my first violation, and the cost of that violation is really like outrageous. I never had any complaints before from any one of my neighbors. I've been there for 4 or 5 years now. And also, I even went to those neighbors and asked them about the complaint. I have video on my phone that state that they didn't make a complaint. No one knows about it. My music was not bothering them. Pretty much, me and all my neighbors get along pretty well. Also, there wasn't a DBA reading of how loud the music was also from the direction of the complaint, which states in your code book that's what was supposed to have been done. The house is actually 3 houses behind my house that made the complaint at 3821.
Okay. Anything else?
Whenever the subject property is residential, we don't take noise measurements. It's plainly audible from 25 feet away after 10 p.m. and 50 feet away prior to 10 p.m.
That's not true. Look in your code book.
The code said.
The last two cases, he had a DBA reading.
Because the subject property was commercial. The subject property is residential.
At the same time, officer.
No, that's not true. So let me read from the code so the appellant can be better educated. Section 17-7, amplified sound, Section 1, no person shall cause, allow, or permit the operation of any amplified sound device from the following use or districts or locations in the following manner. 1A1, sound shall not be plainly audible for a period of 1 minute or longer at a distance of 25 feet or more when measured from the source property line between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. daily. So there is no DBA measurement required.
Okay. I'm going to impose the fine of $500.
So that fine couldn't be reduced by any chance? I have 4 little kids that live with me, and I have daycare and other expenses too as well. And yes, it was my birthday that night. I was having a little fun, but I haven't had any complaints as long as I've been living there.
All right. I will reduce it to $300. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. And how long do I have to pay this?
30 days. You'll get an order in the mail.
All right. Thank you.
Our next case, page 33. Inspector Bernstein Sambert, Edward Eason, presenting case number CE 23050960, case address 1301 Northeast 4th Avenue, owner RS Holdings 2 LLC. This case was first heard 9/28/23 to comply by 11/30/23. Several suspensions noted on the agenda. One section complied at $100 per day, $5,300 accrued, and the city is requesting the full amount.
Good morning, Inspector Edward Easton, City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 23050960 for Senior Inspector Sambert for the address located at 1301 Northeast 4th Avenue. At the Special Magistrate hearing on February 27, 2025, hearing Special Magistrate Flynn granted a 56-day extension. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 5/11/25 and found violation 47-20.20H complied. The city is requesting full imposition of fines.
Please state your name for the record.
Rashid Samiev.
Okay. Why did it take so long to bring the property into compliance?
Well, so we're waiting for our general contractor to start the construction on, putting new pumps and canopies. And my belief is that, some of the ones that shown here is already fixed, just like that hole, for example, is fixed already, to my knowledge. So, and I'm here, I flew from our main office to check and fix everything that's left on, as soon as possible, basically right away.
Okay, this has been going on since September of 2023. And it's taken all this time in order to bring this property into compliance.
Well, there is a huge construction that we have permits for and waiting for our general contractor to start the project, which is so they have to tear out most of the parking lot and put the new canopies and pumps. And my belief is that most of those the violations are fixed, to my knowledge. But that's why I'm here, so I will check myself, and if there's anything left, we will check and immediately fix. Within, let's say, I would say within a week or two, so since I'm here.
Due to the time frame of compliance, city is opposed to a reduction of the $5,300.
Okay. All right. In light of the fact that all the other violations were complied during the time frame allowed, and it was the parking facility only that incurred fines, I'll reduce the fine to $3,000.
Is there any way to reduce it further so we can, use those funds to just fix that within a week or two? Since I flew all the way from Nebraska, and we'll fix. And what's left right now on that from those violations, Inspector?
Okay, I think everything's in compliance right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, everything's in compliance, so it's just the fine you have to take care of.
Okay, and what happens next? I mean, so if we just...
You'll get an order in the mail, and it'll give you instructions on paying the fine.
Okay, got
All
it.
right?
Yeah,
Thank
got
you.
it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our next case, page 34, Inspector Edward Eason. Case number CE 2407-0126, case address 1111 Southwest 2nd Court, owner 2017 Benton Small Family Land Trust, John Winston Small trustee, and all others. This case was first heard 11/12/24 to comply by 11425, one suspension from 2/11/25 to 4/8/25, one section not complied at $100 per day, $6,300 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount, and the fines continue to accrue.
Good morning, Inspector Edward Eason, City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 2407-0126 for the address of 1111 Southwest 2nd Court. At the February 11, 2025 hearing, Special Magistrate Cannon granted a 56-day extension. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 5/12/25 and found violation 9-304B remained. The city is requesting full imposition of fines which continue to accrue.
Please state your name for the record.
Martin Venerio, property manager.
Okay, sir. Why is this property not in compliance?
We're actually waiting on the city for approval on the permits so we could redo the driveway completely all
When
around.
did you apply for permitting?
We started around when we got the last hearing. I believe we're just waiting on the historic department to give us the approval so we could commence the work. As soon as we get that permit, I'll have my guys in there within the next couple days to make sure we get this done. Shouldn't take them long after we have approval, but I just need that approval before we get started. So like that, we don't accumulate fines.
How much time do you think you need?
I would say it all depends on the city. I think with the history in regards of how long we've been waiting, if we could get another 60 days, that'd be great. So just to make sure, I mean, I'm hoping it's done way before that. We're just waiting on approval for permits.
Okay. Is there any status on it? Are they waiting for him, or is he waiting for them?
I'd have to look up the case. I don't.
No, I'm looking. So for this property, the certificate of appropriateness from the Historic Preservation Board, that was approved already.
That was already.
That's already approved, yes. And then for your structural permit that you have. Is that the one you're speaking of?
The one for the driveway? Because I believe the one we had.
Yeah,
we had
replace
to redo
driveway and
the roof.
walkway. So it says it's awaiting client reply,
Okay.
and you filed for that permit in February.
Yeah, that's our contractor that's working on that, so I'll have to follow up with them to make sure. Because the last conversation I had with him last week was that we were waiting on the historic department. I don't know if the one that's there was for the roof, because we did redo the roof recently.
It looks like they sent an email February 28th requesting more information, and they haven't received anything.
Okay, I'll touch base with them. Thank you.
All right, so the historic,
That's been approved.
that's been approved, so. they're
Because of
just-
the length of the case, we're opposed to any extensions.
Pardon me?
Due to the length of this case, we're opposed to any extensions.
All right, and it appears that the permitting is waiting on your contractor.
I was told the wrong information.
All right. I'll give you 15 days and that's all.
Okay. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you so much for all your time.
Our next case, page 24. Inspector Fitzgerald Simmons, case number CE 25030672, case address 1101 North Victoria Park Road, numbers 1 and 2. This case was first cited 32325 to comply by 32325. Two sections complied at $250 for a total of $500. Appeal deadline was 4/7/25 and citation appeal was received.
Code Officer Fitzgerald Simmons presenting on behalf of the City of Fort Lauderdale. This property was first inspected on March 25th, 2025, following a neighbor complaint via C-Click Fix number 186-23126 regarding loud noise and illegal parking at a vacation rental, and the following violations were observed. Section 15-278.1.e. There is Chapter 15, Article X, Vacation Rental Standards, parking violation occurring at this property. This violation is transient in nature. The city is seeking a one-time fine of $250. Section 15-275.5, responsible party failed to respond to the property in person within 1 hour of being notified by a vacation rental occupant, law enforcement officer, emergency personnel, or the city. This violation is transient in nature. The city is seeking a one-time fine of $250. This concludes my testimony.
Okay. Do you have pictures of the parking?
Yeah, go click X. Those are the postings. So violation RP and parking. Yes. So those are the two numbers I contacted for the responsible party. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, please state your name for the record.
Eduardo Molem.
Okay, what do you want to say in support of your appeal?
The guest was actually notified the same day, and pretty much they removed the car and just parked it in the driveway. So we fully complied on the violation that same day. And I just wanted to mention also the fact that the number that was called was my previous manager that had that phone. It has been changed to my cell phone, and pretty much everything about the city at this point, I'm the point of contact, and we take this fully.
Did you change it within our system?
Yeah, we did notify Elisa and the vacation rental unit, and right now, pretty much the person responsible for it. And we did notify it, and we just took action the same day, so.
So, Your Honor, there's the certificate of compliance that has the phone numbers on it.
That's a new one?
Are either of those phone numbers
What's it?
yours?
for the responsible party to the bottom.
Well, it doesn't look like it is yet. Something.
Well, they called me several times already after the fact, so, I mean, somehow, they do have them. Because I received multiple times the fact that sometimes a gas park.
When
not in
did
the
you
drive-
change it, before or after this violation?
It should be updated in the city already.
Yeah.
So after the city, right? Because there's one violation, there's another violation that pretty much has a previous number. And they say they called within an hour and it would have never picked up, but now it's on my phone.
So that was the number that was on the.
Yes, I provided them with the information to have it updated.
All right, I'm going to deny the appeal and impose the fines. Pardon me? Yeah. Pardon me? Oh, okay.
And you mean, do I have to pay the fine?
Yeah,
Any reason why, even though we complied that same day?
yes. Because the violation existed, so you were fined. The fact that you then corrected the violation keeps you from being fined again, but doesn't take care of the fact that it was in violation to begin with.
So, okay. We can't do anything about, I mean, just to remove that fine. Anything about that?
No, I've already ruled on that case. Call the next one, please.
Because I know there's another.
The next case, also page 24, Inspector Robert Kroc, case number CE 25040130, case address 1101 North Victoria Park Road, numbers 1 and 2, owner Erica E. Gomez and Eduardo Mulum. This case was first cited 4425 to comply by 4425. Two sections complied at $250 for a total of $500. Appeal deadline was 4/19/25. Citation appeal was received.
Inspector Robert Kroc, presenting on behalf of the city. Case and address as read. The property was first inspected on 04/04/2025 following a neighbor complaint of loud noise and parking violations at a vacation rental. The following violations were observed. Sir, violation 15-2788. There is a Chapter 15, Article 10, vacation rental standards parking violation occurring at this property with 3 vehicles parked in the grass. Yes. Violation 15-275. Responsible party failed to respond to the property within 1 hour of being notified of a vacation rental occupant, law enforcement officer, or emergency personnel, or the city. Both these fines are transient in nature and are immediate. As the picture you can see there's 3 vehicles parked in the grass. This happened a few days after Inspector Simmons was there, and I spoke to these tenants, and they said they had no knowledge that they couldn't park in the grass.
Okay, please state your name again for the record.
Eduardo Mulum.
Okay, what do you want to tell me in support of the appeal?
Okay, so in the law, in the bylaws or in the listings, including in the property, we strictly also included the fact that, I mean, if they do park in the grass, nowhere near the driveway, they're also going to get fined. So we're very restrictive as far as, I mean, them understanding that they're not supposed to park in the grass. We actually install cameras also in the outside, just to make sure that, I mean, everything is being done correctly and complied.
You understand, though, you're still ultimately responsible.
I fully understand that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we take it so serious, and that's why on our side we've taken action just to make sure that, I mean, all the guests are pretty much, I mean, compliant and following the rules.
Okay. All right, I find that the violation exists, and what about the failure to answer the phone or appear within 1 hour of being called?
And we change it again, I mean, after the fact, so I mean, we took action behind that as well.
Okay, all right, I'm going to deny the appeal and impose the fines.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Our next case, page 31, Inspector Gail Williams, Sheikh Juan Kendrick, presenting case number CE 23110530, case address 5411 Northeast 16th Avenue, owner David K. Laux. This case was first heard 1/14/24 to comply by 1/14/25 to comply by 3/11/25 and 4/8/25. Two sections not complied at $50 per day for a total of $3,500. One section complied at $50 per day for a total of $2,200, $5,700 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount and the fines continue to accrue.
Inspector Kendrick with the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 231-10530, address 5411 Northeast 16th Avenue. This case was first heard on 1/14/2025, given a compliance date of 3/12/2025 for violation 9-308B, and a compliance date for violation 4/9/2025 for violation 9-304B and 9-306. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 5/6/2025. The case remains not in compliance. The city is requesting a full imposition of fines and fines to continue to accrue.
Please state your name for the record.
David Laux.
All right, looks like you made a start, but we still have problems with the walls and the driveway.
There's a very good reason for that.
Okay, tell
if I
me.
may, about 2 months ago, I broke my hand, both these metacarpals. This is this x-ray from last week when they said I could start using my hand again.
Okay. How much time do you think you
I
need?
got this, like, so if I could get those 2 months back and if we could put a hold on those fines, I had already bought some of the materials to get this done. I was working on
All right,
that.
I'm going to
working
give
on
you
the yard.
56 days and suspend the fines during that time. If you run into a problem, make sure you contact the inspector.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
you're
that.
welcome. Feel better.
Our next case, page 36, Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 2405-0208, case address 5660 Northeast 17th Terrace, owner Marina Thixton and Brandon Taylor Thixton. This case was first heard 1/14/25 to comply by 1/24/25 and 3/11/25. One suspension from 4/24/25 to 5/13/25. Five sections complied at $50 per day, $12,300 accrued, and this is in order to reappear.
Good morning. Senior Officer Gail Williams presenting for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case CE 24050-208, address 5660 Northeast 17th Terrace. This case was first presented to Special Magistrate on January 14, 2025. All the violations have complied. The city is requesting full amount to be imposed.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Marina Thixton.
Okay, all right. Tell me why it took so long to get all the...
Because I was sick. I have only one kidney and I'm diabetic, and I couldn't do by myself. I spend money for paint. I have only $300 from Social Security, and since I turned 65, Social Medicaid taken 200 from, so I have only 100, and I'm taking Powerella. They give me food and church, and my neighbors give me food too. I don't have any money to do anything too much. Plus, I broke my foot.
Okay. All right, I'm going to waive the fine.
And my doctor sent me to a psychiatrist right now.
I understand. I'm going to waive the fines. No fines. Okay? Good luck to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Our next case, page 15, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 25010524, case address 3460 Southwest 18th Street, owner 2872 Northwest 2nd Street, LLC, posted at property 42125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
This is Matthew Flesher for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 25010-524 at address 3460 Southwest 18th Street. The case was first cited on January 22, 2025 for the following violation: 47-21.15.a, a royal poinciana, a sea grape, and a slash pine were removed from this RS-6.85B zoned property without first having the permit issued. This case will be brought to special magistrate to request an imposition of fines up to $15,000 for an irreparable and irreversible violation. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 6, 2025, and the permit was showing as issued status on April 24, 2025. The city is seeking an immediate fine of $450 for the removal of 3 trees without having a permit issued, and a compliance deadline of 91 days to have the permit completed, or a fine of $100 per day to run thereafter, and an order to reappear.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Justin Singer.
All right. Are you in agreement with the $450 one-time fine and 91 days to finish the permit?
I prefer not to pay the fine. I am okay with the 91 days to finish the permit.
Yeah, well,
I had the permit, it just wasn't issued yet. I didn't cut the trees down to and then have to get the permit. It just wasn't paid for yet. So it wasn't like a situation where I cut it down, got in trouble. Oh, now I got to get the permit for it. Okay. I had it already agreed with staff. It just wasn't paid for yet.
James Fetter for the City of Fort Lauderdale Zoning and Landscape Department. That is correct. He was waiting, awaiting a permit issuance. He had to pay the fee for the permit to get it, and it's now issued.
all right. I'll reduce the fine to $200.
Okay.
Pardon me? No. Yeah, and you have 91 days to finish that permit, or you're going to face a fine of $100 a day.
Okay.
All right, thanks. That's it.
There's one more time.
He has one more case.
Oh.
The next case, page 16, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 25010793, case address 3451 Southwest 19th Street, owner 2872 Northwest 2nd Street, LLC, posted at property 42325, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
This is Matthew Flesher for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 250100793 at address 3451 Southwest 19th Street. The case was first cited on January 22, 2025 for the following violation: 47-21.15a. 3 black olive trees were removed from this RS-6.85B zoned property without first having the permit issued. This case will be brought to special magistrate to request imposition of fines up to $15,000 for an irreparable and irreversible violation. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 6, 2025, and the permit was shown as issued on April 24, 2025. The city is seeking an immediate fine of $450 for the removal of 3 trees without first having the permit issued, and a compliance deadline of 91 days to have the permit completed, or a fine of $100 per day to run thereafter, and an order to reappear.
Okay, were these all removed at the same time?
Yes.
The same permit? All right, I'll give you the same result, $200.
Okay.
And 91 days to get the permit.
Yes.
Do you all want an order to reappear or no?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so there'll be an order to reappear on my August 12th docket.
If I take care of that before that, will it just go away?
Yeah, then
Okay.
you won't have to come.
All right, thank you.
That'll be on both cases. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case, page 25, Inspector Fitzgerald Simmons, case number CE 2503-0504, case address 739 Northwest 18th Street, owner Evgeny Borinsky. This case was first cited 31725 to comply by 31725. 2 sections complied at $250 each, $500 accrued. Appeal deadline was 4/1/25. No appeal was received, and the city is requesting the full amount.
Code Officer Fitzgerald Simmons presenting on behalf of the City of Fort Lauderdale. This property was first inspected on March 17, 2025, following a neighbor complaint via C-Click Fix number 18585014 regarding loud noise at a vacation rental, and the following violations were observed. Section 15-275.5, responsible party failed to respond to the property in person within 1 hour of being contacted by a vacation rental occupant, law enforcement officer, emergency personnel, or the city. This violation is transient in nature. One-time fine. The city is seeking a one-time fine of $250. Section 15-278.1.e. There's Chapter 15, Article X, vacation rental standards, parking violation occurring at this property. This violation is transient in nature. The city is seeking a one-time fine of $250. Regarding that Beamer park on the swell. After I made contact, 2 male occupants came out and took off in the vehicle. Regarding the noise, our police department was already on scene prior to my arrival and resolved the noise violation. That was the 2 vehicles doing the U-turn. There they go, they're taking off. The certificate of compliance. You can close it. Yeah, that one, all the way at the bottom. Yeah, this particular property doesn't have a certificate of compliance, so I contacted the owner based on the phone number that's listed under the occupant. Yeah, this testimony is concluded.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
My name's Erica Kaplan. I'm repping the owner.
Okay. Was an appeal filed in this case?
So I have a screenshot. We got no such phone call, unless it was a Chicago number. We didn't answer it.
Here's the problem. When you got the citation, you had the avenue to appeal, and then I could have taken all of your testimony and rejected the citation, given you a break, whatever. But because you didn't file for the appeal, the allegations are deemed admitted, and I don't have any discretion but to enter the fine.
I mean, that's our parking spot. We have 5. We own that spot. So that's our parking spot.
You own what spot?
Where the BMW is.
In the swale?
Yeah. All 4 of those belong to us, including the driveway. You can look it up. Also, we have very, very good relations with our neighbors. In fact, like the one across the street, like literally eyes and ears of our property, like takes our trash out. He didn't call either that day.
Yeah.
And he would have been over there in 2 seconds.
Okay, unless the city wants to revisit it themselves, I don't have any choice in the matter because the appeal wasn't filed.
Magistrate.
But is it?
Katrina Johnson, Co-Compliance Manager for the City of Fort Lauderdale. For the record.
We were told that someone came out, someone called for a noise complaint, and when they came out, there was no noise. So at that point, they got us on parking. But that's my our parking spots.
Yeah, you've been,
So
that we own.
the parking for vacation rentals is in the driveway. It's not on the swell. It's not anywhere else except the driveway. That's by ordinance. All cars related to a vacation rental have to be parked in the driveway of the property.
A copy of that written because.
The ordinance that you,
public record.
there's,
Google
that's
ordinance.
the swell. You don't own the, I mean, you can park on the swell technically in the city of Fort Lauderdale. That's not a violation for vacation rentals. It is a violation because you have to park in the driveway. It's in the ordinance.
We registered our house with that certain number.
I'm going to ask you not to speak while
Sorry,
she's
we
speaking.
registered
It
the
messes
house
the
with
record.
a certain amount of parking spots, so like nobody told us that we can't
Well,
have
in the
those.
ordinance, it basically states that all parking has to be in the driveway. And in the application process, we basically say, also put that in your documents, that there's no on-street parking, there's no off-street parking, there's only driveway parking for vacation rental properties.
I guess there's confusion since we own it.
But you-
it's not a public swale for people to park.
But you're
We own
operating
it.
as a vacation rental?
Sure, but I guess that's where the confusion lied. Like
And so when you operate as a vacation rental, in the application process, there's check boxes that basically say, I read the ordinance and I agreed to abide by what's in the ordinance. So now you can say that I need to provide you with the ordinance because in your application you stated you read the ordinance. We will still provide you with it and we'll highlight the section related to parking, but that is why you have a parking violation because you can't park anywhere but the driveway for vacation
Fine,
rentals.
so we can, in all of our parking spots that we own, we're only physically allowed to have our guests park in the driveway.
Yes, ma'am.
That's weird. Okay.
All right.
In addition, Special Magistrate, for the record.
In regards to the
this-
phone call, we have no phone call.
Please stop talking while someone
Okay.
else is talking. First of all, it's very rude.
Okay.
And second of all, it messes up the record
Okay.
so that you can't take down two people at once.
So the recent renewal the application was rejected. So there's no certificate of compliance listed. So therefore, there was no responsible party. So I took the liberty of contacting the owner, which is the applicant, which is the phone number there listed that I called. Based on the applicant that's under the case.
All right. All right. As I said, I have no discretion but to impose the fine.
And that's because we didn't appeal it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
On the citation that you get, it gives you directions for appeal.
He said he called, so I don't know.
Your magistrate, just for the record, to be clear, the phone number that he showed on the screen is the phone number that has you or Evan as the owner. The 347 number, that is the number that he called.
Do you know like what number called? Because the only missed call he got was a Illinois number.
That's the number,
Yeah, no.
8638517.
Sure.
The date would be on the photo. The time is 7:17 p.m. So it would be whatever the date was.
Scroll down. The date is at the bottom.
The date is at the bottom, 7:17 p.m.
Keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
So that's past the 1 hour of the time period you have to respond.
All I can say is he sent me a screenshot. He never got a missed call. The only call he got was from a Chicago
Again,
number.
I could have taken that evidence into consideration had you filed the appeal.
I'll let him know.
All right. Thank you very much.
Our next case, page 40, Inspector Karen Proto. Case number CE 2404-0243. Case address 2312 Northwest 15th Court. Owner Annie L. Dinkins Estates. This case was first heard 9/10/24 to comply by 10/8/24. One suspension from 1/14/25 to 5/13/25. Two sections not complied at $50 per day for a total of $9,900. Three sections complied at $50 per day for a total of $11,550. $21,450 accrued, and this is in order to reappear.
Inspector Proto for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case and address is read into the record. At Special Magistrate on 1/14/25 hearing, Special Magistrate granted a 119-day extension and in order to reappear on 5/13/25. As of pre-hearing inspection on 5/12/25, the case is not in compliance. The City is recommending full imposition of fines.
Sir, please state your name for the record.
My name is
John H. Dinkins.
Okay, can you tell me, Mr. Dinkins, why the property still isn't in compliance?
Ma'am, the property is in compliance as to what was said needed to be complied.
Okay, have you taken care of the exterior walls that are,
yes,
you painted
ma'am.
it?
Yes, ma'am. As far as right now, as I'm speaking, hopefully it's being completed now as far as being exterior painted. And the only thing now is the driveway. I recently, from the time I talked to the inspector, I became owner of the property after my mom passed, 2 years ago, year and a half ago. And everybody in the family just bombarded the yard, left it like it was, and it was on me.
Okay, I don't have the driveway in front of me.
Okay, that's the driveway there.
What I have in front of me still is the exterior walls and the landscaping.
And the exterior walls, I started painting it yesterday after buying all of the paint. The house was recently, 9 months ago, 8 months ago, they caught a fire. So out of trying to repair the house, I'm the only one there, and I'm unemployed. And
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, it just took that. It took that length
All right,
of time.
in light of the fact that the painting is underway, I'm going to grant a 10-day extension, and also so she can get a chance to go out and re-inspect and make sure that everything's in compliance.
Okay, one other question. Could I get a longer extension? Because like I said, the house was under fire. Now I'm trying to get some type insurance so that this time, next
Okay,
time
but
if
this has got
anything-
nothing to do with the painting or the landscaping.
Yes.
That's all that's left you have to do to comply this case.
Oh, paint and the landscape?
Paint and landscape.
Paint will be finished today, and the landscaping part where she said I needed to put something there, that's grass seeds. I can't push those. The grass seeds there right now.
Yeah, grass has got to be done. I'll let the inspector meet you in the back and tell you exactly how to comply the landscaping. But 10 days, and I'll suspend the fines during that time, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Our next case, page 31, Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 2402-0585, case address 649 Northwest 15th Street, owner Satinet Fertiling. This case was first heard 1:30:25 to comply by 2:9:25 and 2:27:25. 5 sections complied at $100 per day for a total of $10,200. 1 section not complied at $100 per day for a total of $7,500. $17,700 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount, and the fines continue to accrue.
Good morning. Senior Officer Gail Williams presenting for the City of Fort Lauderdale, KCE 240-20585, address 649 Northwest 15th Street. This case was first presented to Special Magistrate on January 30th, 2025. 9-280 (H) (1) complied. 9-313 (A) complied. 9-306 complied. 9-304 (B) complied. 9-305 (B). The landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 47-20.20 (H) has complied. 47-34.1.8.1 complied. And 18-12A (A) complied. 18-4 (C) complied. A pre-hearing inspection conducted on May 12, 2025 in violation 9-305B has not complied.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Evelyn Eastwood.
Okay, Ms. Eastwood, it looks like most everything has been complied except for the landscaping.
That area right there, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah,
By
that's,
the-
there were other photos there of different spots, but it's the missing
Okay.
ground cover.
Well, that spot right there is where the boat was. So the boat has since been removed. So we're working on getting the landscaping, the grass back alive.
All right. I'm going to give you 28 days and suspend the fines during that time, but you have to get that done, and then you'll be all complied.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case, page 30. Inspector Jessica Martinez, Shaquan Kendrick presenting case number CE 2408-0089, case address 712 Northwest 1st Avenue, owner Blue River Realty LLC. This case was first heard at 114.25 to comply by 211.25. One section not complied at $50 per day, $4,550 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount and the fines continue to accrue.
Inspector Kendrick with the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 2408089 at address 712 Northwest 1st Avenue. This case was first heard on January 14, 2025. Special Magistrate hearing. The hearing ordered 28 days to comply or $50 a day thereafter. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on 5/11/2025 and the following violation 9-280 parentheses H has not met compliance. At this time, the city is requesting the full imposition of fines and to continue to accrue.
Please state your name for the record.
Fabricio Miller.
Okay, Mr. Miller, why is this property not in compliance? What's going on with this garage door?
So we heard about this actually 3 days ago through a neighbor. I got on a 12-hour flight to be here, like on very short notice. We had squatters there. So we learned that the landscaper who we were paying to take care of the property, the grass, we knew he had access to the little garage because we have a lawnmower inside there, but we weren't aware that he was living there. So I have receipts here to show that he was, in fact, just a landscaper. I think he was passing off as well as the property manager, so he did not notify us because otherwise he would get kicked out of the property. I came in yesterday. I removed the door, like I pried it open. I have all the evidence here if I can give
Okay,
it to you.
what are you going to do to repair the garage?
So the garage door is already down. So basically that is just like a wooden wall, makeshift wall that he put in there. As soon as I pried that off, the door came down. So the door is still functional.
Okay.
He just put it there so it was easier for him to come in and
All
out.
right, so if the garage door is down, will the property be complied?
Special Magistrate, yeah, the garage door, if it's down, it will be complied. However, we're still going to ask for the imposition of fines, a couple of reasons. We received a couple of calls from a few different people claiming to be the property owner at this location. On top of the number that's on the door that says for rent is the same number that Fabricio called the inspector on yesterday, which would lead us to believe that they're well aware of who was in that property, that 954 number, or that number there is the same number that they called us yesterday. So it leads us to believe that they knew that the person was there in the property, knew the condition of the property. On top of before we got to this date, there was an RV that was on the property that was removed, as well as a few other things. So we will ask for the imposition of fines to stay. It almost seems like the city is being, taken into a loop here, and then they can do lien amnesty at the end.
Well, on my end, we were never aware of this. We only became aware of this because in March, late March, we came here, me and my father, and we went in the property and we saw, well, they're living there, so we kicked them out. After that point, I put in the for rent sign. If you pull up pictures from beforehand, the number wasn't there. If we were gonna rent, obviously it wasn't gonna be for someone to live there and install a door. It'd be for renting like garage space. Also, I have
But you saw the condition of this garage in March?
Special magistrate, I mean, just also his testimony kind of conflicted because when he started, he said he wasn't aware until 3 days ago, and now he's saying he was aware in March.
Yeah.
Squatters, we were never aware of a city violation. Like, we never really got any receipts. Also, we were in contact with Officer Caracas in the past, so we believe that the city has both the phone number for us and the email, both of which were never contacted.
We don't have a legal obligation to do that, sir.
That's fine, but we live abroad. Like, we just became aware of this.
Oh, and that's a different case.
Here are
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not required, they're only required to notify the address on record. And if you don't change the address with the property appraiser's office, you're not going to get notifications, okay?
So the address, Your Honor, just for purposes of the record, is a Fort Lauderdale address for notice.
Okay, so it's not the same address as this
It's,
property?
if I'm not mistaken, it's 215 North
New
New
River
River Drive. We're no longer in that apartment. We tried to change it. So I was living in California as a property manager. I was moving around a lot, so I didn't really have a fixed address. We tried to put it as an international address since we don't have anywhere to correspond to here in Fort Lauderdale. So, like, we couldn't change that address. There was nothing to put in on file.
All right.
International addresses are accepted all the time with property appraisers, so I don't really know what you're saying,
All right.
but
I'm going to impose the full fine. You are welcome to go through the amnesty program, and that would greatly reduce it. But I'm going to go ahead and impose that fine, and I'm assuming that the property will be complied
Your Honor, if I
shortly.
if I can add one thing to this. In 1 day of me being here, we already complied. I have another picture that I gave it to you. It's a pile of rocks that someone put on the neighboring property, which also belongs to us. That's why we initially came to visit the property, because
Sir, what I'm ruling is to impose the fine. You are welcome to go through the amnesty program.
okay.
And the reason I'm imposing the fine is because I find your testimony conflicting. You said you were there in March. You could see that the garage was not and did nothing about it.
Okay.
Don't argue with me. All right. We'll impose the fine, but like I said, go through the amnesty program, and you can get a great a reduction. Okay, and. The fines will continue to run until it's complied.
Is it complied now? I have a picture of how it looks now.
Yeah, it probably will be complied shortly.
We'll have the inspector go out and check.
Pardon me?
We'll have the inspector go out and do a compliance inspection.
Okay, so it'll be complied as soon as someone comes out today, and so you won't incur any future fines.
Okay, because I don't plan on staying here for much longer, so I'll probably just be here for the week. So if I'm able to know by then if I have to do anything else, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Okay, all right. Someone will be out there today. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way.
Okay.
That's the end of our respondents. We'll take a 5-minute recess. We ready? Our next case, page 11. Inspector Jessica Martinez, Shaquan Kendrick, presenting case number CE 2501-0309, case address Northwest 6th Avenue, owner Miller Property Investment LLC, posted at property 42825, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Inspector Kendrick with the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 250-10309, address Northwest 6th Avenue. This case was first inspected on January 8, 2025, and the following violations was observed. Violation 47-20.20-H. There are parking facilities that is not maintained at the property. There are weeds growing through cracks and potholes. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 11, 2025, and the property remains in violation as depicted in the photos. At this time, the city is requesting 28 days for compliance or $200 per day thereafter.
Do we have the pictures?
I'm finished, Special Magistrate.
Okay. Please state your name again for the record.
Fabricio Miller.
Okay, Mr. Miller, are you in agreement to bring the property into compliance within 28 days or a fine of $200 a day?
So I have a question. So this property is currently an empty lot. It's not being used as a parking lot, and we have a development undergoing. We have city. We're in process of applying for city plans for a building in there. I have supporting evidence here, which I'll provide to you. So I don't really understand the necessity of getting a parking lot, I mean, fixed if it's not used for that, and everything that's in there will probably be removed soon, you know?
Have you applied for any permits as of yet?
Special Magistrate, I'm sure you're aware, but the necessity for putting it back as a parking lot is because currently it's a parking lot, and until he pulls permits, which there's no application, it needs to go back to being a parking lot, and the parking lot can't look like that.
Okay, all right. Well, you're going to have to either fix this parking lot or, you know, I mean, there's nothing I could do. You haven't even applied for the permits. Suppose you decide not to. But I'll give you a little bit more time to sort through it. And anything else from the city? Okay.
I have a question. If we were able to maybe apply for the city to revert this to an empty parking lot, empty lot instead of a parking lot, since we don't use it, would it be fine like that?
No.
No?
No.
We would have to remove all of the pavement.
I'm sorry, what was the second question?
So since we don't really have any use for it as a parking lot, I was wondering if we could apply at the city to turn it back into like an empty lot, not a commercial use.
Even if it was an empty lot, you would have to re-asphalt it, take the weeds out of there. It can't be left in that condition. That's not a condition that it was meant to be in.
Well, it's just that we bought it like this like 3 years ago from a previous owner, and
I understand when you purchased the property, you purchased whatever violations came with it. We can discuss after though, if you like, but whether it's a parking lot or an empty lot, it can't be in that condition.
I don't think we purchased with any violations, but Since there were no violations, I think we assumed that it was fine like that.
Yeah, well, it's not. All right, I'll give you a little more time, 56 days or $200 a day. And
Also, I think as of right now, it's 4 different separate lots. We would probably want to unify them just so in the future.
you know, I mean, you could do what you
That-
want with your
that-
property
yeah.
as long as you apply for the proper
Yeah.
permits, et cetera. But for right now, I'm dealing with what's in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, thank you very much.
56 days?
Pardon?
How many days?
56
Okay,
days, yeah.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll start with the non-respondents. Page 2, Inspector Carl Peterson, case number FC 25020007, case address 1444 Windsor Court, owner Windsor at Wilton Manors LLC. This case is complied. Our next case, page 6, Inspector Rafael Santos, case number CE 25030189, case address 1511 Southwest 4th Avenue, owner LPD Property LLC, posted at property 41425, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Inspector Rafael Santos for the City of Fort Lauderdale. Case and address is read into the record. Inspector Mohammed inspected this property on March 8, 2025 and cited for the following violations. 9-363, failure to register the rental dwelling within the city with a free application has not been submitted or complete. 18-1, there is under roof storage at this property under the carport that is creating a public nuisance. It is being maintained in such a manner that the property is or may reasonably become infested, inhabited by rodent, vermin, or wild animals, or may furnish a breeding place for mosquitoes, or threaten or endanger public health, safety, or welfare, or may adversely affect and impair the economic welfare of adjacent properties. 9-306, the exterior building walls have not been maintained. There are areas of the exterior, including soffit fascia, that have stains and missing paint. Also, there are areas that are covered with bugs. 9-305B, parentheses B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance or areas of dead or missing ground cover. 9-304, parentheses B, there are vehicles parked on the lawn, grass, lawn area. The concrete driveway has stains, missing, and peeling paint. Inspection report was posted on the property March 8, 2025, and a copy was mailed to the owner listed on BCPA. Re-inspected the property April 9, 2025. Posted the property April 14, 2025. The city is asking the following. For code section 9-363, 15 days or $100 thereafter. 18-1, 15 days or $100 thereafter. 9-306, 28 days or $100 thereafter. 9-305B, 28 days or $100 thereafter. 9-304B, 28 days or $100 thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, page 7, Inspector Rafael Santos, case number CE 25020429, case address 1200 Southeast 13th Terrace, owner Clara E. Rust and Jack E. R. Rust and all others, posted at property 41425, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Inspector Rafael Santos for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case and address as read into the record. Inspector Mohammed inspected this property on February 15, 2025, and cited for the following violations. 9-304, parentheses B, the driveway on the west side of the property is in disrepair. There are multiple cracks, weeds growing through it. 9-305, parentheses B is complied. 18-4, parentheses A is complied. 18-12, parentheses A is complied. 47-34.1.A.1 is complied. 9-280, parentheses H, parentheses 1, the wood fence at this property is in disrepair and not being maintained as required. There are multiple missing panels. 9-306 is complied. The inspection report was posted on the property February 15, 2025, and a copy was mailed to the owner listed on BCPA. Re-inspected March 7, 2025, posted the property April 14, 2025. Pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 7 and found that the violations are not complied. The city is asking the following. For 9-304, parentheses B, 56 days or $50 thereafter. And for code section 9-280, parentheses H, parentheses 1, 56 days or $50 thereafter.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Next case, page 8. Inspector Shaquan Kendrick, case number CE 2503-0062, case address 5708 Northeast 22nd Avenue. Owner Paul and Sharon Curley, posted at property 41525, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Inspector Kendrick with the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 250-30062, address 5708 Northeast 22nd Avenue. This property was first inspected on 3/4/2025, given time to correct the following violation. Violation 47-21.15A has complied. There was an oak tree that was removed from the property swell without first obtaining a permit. The city is requesting a full imposition of fines in the amount of $150 for irreversible violation.
So ordered.
Next case, page 11. Inspector Jessica Martinez, Gail Williams, presenting case number CE 2412-0443, case address 800 West Sunrise Boulevard. Owner Goddess LTD, posted at property 42925, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Senior Officer Gail Williams presenting for the City of Fort Lauderdale, case CE 2412-0443, address 800 West Sunrise Boulevard. This case was first inspected on December 22nd, 2024, and the following violations was observed. 9-305, parentheses B, the landscape of this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 18-12A has complied. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 11, 2025, and the violation 9-305, parentheses B, remain as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 28 days to comply or $150 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Next case, page 12. Inspector Jessica Martinez, Gail Williams, presenting case number CE 2412-0511, case address 700 Northwest 4th Avenue. Owner Irma J. Ferguson, posted at property 43025, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Senior Officer Gail Williams, presenting for the City of Fort Lauderdale for case CE 2412-0511, address 700 Northwest 4th Ave. This case was first inspected on December 23rd, 2024, and the following violations were observed. 18-12, parentheses A, complied. 9-305, parentheses B, the landscape of this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 9-280, parentheses H, parentheses 1, the fence at this property is in disrepair and is not being maintained as required. The chain link fence has areas that have openings and that are leaning over. This is a reoccurring violation, CKCE 23080202. This case will be presented to Special Magistrate whether compliance is met or not, seeking a finding of fact. 9-306, the exterior building walls of the single-family home and its shed have not been maintained. Structural parts, including fascia and soffits, are in disrepair. They are falling apart, detached, and broken. There are areas of the exterior that have stains and missing peeling paint. This is a reoccurring violation, CKCE 23040223. And this case will be presented to Special Magistrate whether compliance is met or not, seeking a finding of fact. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 11, 2025, and the violations 9-305, parentheses B, 9-280, parentheses H, parentheses 1, and 9-306 remain as depicted in the photos. The city is requesting 56 days for compliance of a fine of $50 per day for each violation thereafter.
Okay, do you want a finding of fact for 1812?
No, ma'am, and 18-12A is complied.
Okay. It's a recurring, though.
Oh, she didn't put it on here. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, so ordered.
Thank you.
Next case, also page 12, Inspector Jessica Martinez, case number CE 250208084, case address 299 North Federal Highway, owner 299 North Federal Master LLC. This case is being rescheduled. Next case, page 14, Inspector Jessica Martinez, Gail Williams presenting case number CE 2503080, case address 1244 Northwest 5th Avenue, owner Reside Internals Inc., in care of Eleonora DePalma, PA, posted at property for 3025, posted at 1 East Broward for 2525.
Senior Officer Gail Williams presenting for the City of Fort Lauderdale for case CE 2503080, address 1244 Northwest 5th Avenue. This case was first inspected on April 1st, 2025, and the following violation was observed. 18-12 parentheses A complied. However, this is a reoccurring violation reference case CE 23070856, and this case will be taken to special magistrate whether or not compliance is achieved. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 12, 2025, and the violation was complied. At this time, the city is requesting a finding of fact.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Next case, page 17, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 25030025, case address 2361 North Southwest 36 Terrace, owner Bruce Toski, posted at property for 2125, posted at 1 East Broward for 2525.
This is Matthew Flesher for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 25030025 at address 2361 Southwest 36th Terrace. This case was first cited on March 2, 2025 for the following violation. 18-1, the overall condition consisting of, but not limited to, outdoor storage of cars, desks, sheets of glass, bicycles, dressers, washing machines, and other pieces of furniture, and overall neglect at this property are creating a public nuisance. It is being maintained in such a manner that the property threatens or endangers the public health, safety, or welfare, or may adversely affect and impair the economic welfare of adjacent properties. A pre-hearing inspection was conducted on May 11, 2025, and the violation 18-1 remained. The city is seeking 15 days to comply or a daily fine of $150 to run thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, page 18, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 25020680, case address 2850 Southwest 16th Street, owner Angelo Colangelo, posted at property for 2125, posted at 1 East Broward for 2525.
This is Matthew Flesher for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 250300490 at address 2211 Southwest 27th Terrace. The case was first cited on March 18 for the following violations. 9-305A, there's growth of landscape material encroaching upon, I apologize. I had it in the wrong order. All right.
It's all right.
All right. Okay, this is Matthew Flesher for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 250200680 at address 2850 Southwest 16th Street. This case was first cited on February 24, 2025 for the following violations. 9-304B complied, and 47-39.A.1.B 6B complied. There's outdoor storage consisting of, but not limited to, pieces of wood, hoses and buckets, and other miscellaneous items at this RS-6.85B zone property. This is a recurring violation. refer to case number CE 21-020346. This case will be presented to the special magistrate seeking a finding of fact whether or not the violation comes into compliance prior to the hearing date. All violations were complied as of March 25, 2025. The city is seeking a finding of fact for violation 47-39.A.1.B6B.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 2503-0421, case address 3404 Southwest 25th Court, owner Sway 2014-1 Borrower LLC, posted at property 42125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
This is Matthew Flesher for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 25030421 at address 3404 Southwest 25th Court. This case was first cited on March 14, 2025 for the following violation. 9-304B complied. There is a trailer parked on the grass lawn area. The trailer is described as a black two-wheel open utility trailer with a golf cart on it. This is a recurring violation. Refer to case CE 25-011008 and will be presented to the special magistrate seeking a finding of fact whether or not the violation comes into compliance prior to the hearing date. All violations were complied as of March 30, 2025. The city is seeking a finding of fact for violation 9-304B.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 2503-0490, case address 2211 Southwest 27th Terrace, owner Joshua Paul Clinton, posted at property 42125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
This is Matthew Flesher for the City of Fort Lauderdale, presenting case CE 25030490 at address 2211 Southwest 27th Terrace. This case was first cited on March 18, 2025 for the following violation. 9-305A complied. There is growth of landscape material encroaching upon the public right-of-way. There is encroachment of the stop sign on the corner of 27th Terrace and Riverland Road. This is a recurring violation. Refer to case number CE 24070634. This case will be presented to the special magistrate seeking a finding of fact whether or not the violation comes into compliance prior to the hearing date. All violations were complied as of March 30, 2025. The city is seeking a finding of fact for violation 9-305A.
So ordered.
Next case, page 19, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 2502-0364, case address 2809 Northeast 37th Street, owner Amelia Steinloff Revocable Trust, posted at property 42125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Good morning, Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale Senior Code Compliance Officer, presenting case and address as read. This property was first inspected on February 13th and given time to correct for the following violation. 8-91C, there is a mooring structure, dock, in disrepair at the rear of this RS44 residential property. In this condition, it is found to be unsafe and in an unsatisfactory condition. The city is requesting compliance within 56 days or a fine of $100 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, page 20, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 2502-0290, case address 2850 Northeast 32nd Street, owner Mill Capital LLC, posted at property 42125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale Senior Code Compliance Officer, presenting case and address as read. This property was first inspected on February 10th and given time to correct for the following violations. 9-280H1 is complied. 18-12A, there is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris on this property and its swale. There are 2 piles of dirt on the property and plastic sheeting on the swale. The landscaping is also overgrown and needs to be cut. 9-305B, the landscape of this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 47-341A1, there is outdoor storage on this RMM25 property of items including but not limited to lumber and cinder blocks. The city is requesting compliance within 28 days or a fine of $100 per violation per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 25020291, case address 2840 Northeast 32nd Street, owner Mill Capital LLC, posted at property 42125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale, Senior Code Compliance Officer, presenting case and address as read. This property was first inspected on February 10th and given time to correct for the following violations. 9-305B, the landscape at this property is not being maintained in a neat and well-kept appearance. There are areas of dead and missing ground cover. 47-341A1, there is outdoor storage on this RMM 25 property of items including but not limited to lumber and cinder blocks. The city is requesting compliance within 28 days or a fine of $100 per violation per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 25030065, case address 2304 East Oakland Park Boulevard, owner Rosselli Holdings 6 LLC. This case is complied. Next case, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 25030254, case address 2825 Northeast 25th Street, owner FLH Lovins LLC, posted at property 42225, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale, Senior Code Compliance Officer, presenting case and address as read. This property was first inspected on March 10th and given time to correct for the following violation. 47-193H, there is a boat on this RS44 property that is positioned within the setback of the adjacent residential property as per ULDR 47-5.30 through 47-5.31. Setback for RS44 properties is 10 feet. The city is requesting compliance within 10 days or a fine of $200 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 25030268, case address 3330 Northeast 33rd Street, owner Lads Rental Inc., personal service on 42225, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale, Senior Code Compliance Officer, presenting case and address as read. This property was first inspected on March 10th and given time to correct for the following violation. 47-199A5A, there are items placed on the property outside of the building, restaurant, including but not limited to chairs and tables used as outdoor dining. This business has not obtained the necessary permits or approval from the city. This is a recurrence of case CE 24070942, which was brought into compliance on August 12, 2024. The city is requesting compliance within 28 days or a fine of $150 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Next case, page 22, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 25030480, case address 2218 Northeast 17th Court, owner Raymond Costello and Carol Costello, personal service on 42125, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Pat Gavin, City of Fort Lauderdale, Senior Code Compliance Officer, presenting case and address as read. This property was first inspected on March 17th and given time to correct for the following violations. 47-341A1, there is outdoor storage of items including but not limited to large paint buckets at this RS8 residential property. This is a recurrence of case CE 25010264, and as such, this case will be scheduled for a hearing before the special magistrate whether or not compliance is met. 24-27B. There are waste containers left out overnight after collection day and not pulled back to an approved location. This is a recurrence of case CE 25010264, and as such, this case will be scheduled for a hearing before the special magistrate whether or not compliance is met. 18-12A. There is overgrowth, trash, rubbish, and debris, including but not limited to boards on this property and or its swale. This is a recurrence of case CE 25010264, and as such, this case will be scheduled for a hearing before the special magistrate whether or not compliance is met. The city is requesting compliance within 15 days or a fine of $100 per violation per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Next case, page 23, Inspector Wanda Aquavella, case number CE 25020139, case address 401 North Birch Road, number 611, owner Margarita Young, posted at property 42425, posted at 1 East Broward 42525.
Good morning, Your Honor. Wanda Aquavella for the city. Case and address is read. This property was initially inspected on February 10th, 2025, and the following violation was observed. 15-281A. There is an operation of vacation rental with an expired certificate of compliance at this location. Additional inspections were conducted, including a pre-hearing inspection on May 7, 2025, where the property was inspected in an attempt to obtain a vacation rental certificate. The property failed the inspection. The city is requesting 15 days to comply or a fine of $250 per day thereafter.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Next case, Inspector Robert Kroc, case number CE 2503-0001, case address 1209 Northeast 11th Avenue. Owner Samir Patel. This case is complied. Next case, page 24. Inspector Gail Williams, case number CE 2305-0727, case address 900 Guava Isle, owner 900 Guava Isle LLC. This case was first heard 8/31/23. One section complied at $449.52, and the city is requesting that fines are waived on this case.
So ordered.
Next case. Next case, page 25, Inspector Fitzgerald Simmons, case number CE 2503-0451, case address 1730 Northeast 23rd Avenue, owner KR Management LLC. This case was first cited 3/16/25 to comply by 3/16/25. Two sections complied at $250 for a total of $500. Appeal deadline was 3/31/25. No appeal was received, and the city is requesting the full amount.
Code Officer Fitzgerald Simmons, presenting on behalf of the City of Fort Lauderdale. This property was first inspected on March 16, 2025, following a neighbor complaint via report number 250-3161-75220 regarding loud noise, and the following violations were observed. Violation section 17-7.10.A.2. There is non-amplified sound coming from this residential property from 50 feet away before 10 p.m. This violation is irreversible in nature. The city is seeking a one-time fine of $250. Section 17-7.1.A.2. There is amplified sound coming from this residential property 50 feet away before 10 p.m. This violation is irreversible in nature. The city is seeking a one-time fine of $250. This concludes my testimony. Hold on. That doesn't give up. Let me. Yeah, here. Right here. And the fourth photo is the measurement taken to show that I was, scroll down, to show that I was 50 feet away. Scroll up a little bit. So the line right there, 50.3 inches away from the fence.
Okay. All right. Fine imposed.
Next case, page 26, Inspector Rafael Santos, case number CE 2411-0476, case address 904 Southeast 13th Street, owner 13th Street LLC. This case was first heard 2/11/25 to comply by 2/21/25. One section complied at $200 per day, $1,200 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Pat Gavin, case number CE 240800527, case address 2701 North Federal Highway, owner Oak Street Investment Grade Net. This case was first heard at 114.25 to comply by 311.25. One section complied at $100 per day, $600 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount.
So ordered.
Next case, page 29, Inspector Gustavo Caracas, case number CE 241200416, case address 709 Southeast 7th Street, owner Maria Virginia Bryant and Matthew Bryant. This case was first heard 211.25 to comply by 226.25. One section complied at $50 per day, $550 accrued. The city is requesting no fines.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Matthew Flesher, case number CE 241000012, case address 3101 Southwest 20th Court, owner Jennifer Boughton and Patricia Boughton Brown. This case was first heard 114.25 to comply by 129.25, 211.25, 311.25, and 513.25. One suspension from 311.25 to 48.25. One section complied at $50 per day for a total of $250. Three sections not complied at $50 per day for a total of $4,900. $5,150 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount, and the fines continue to accrue.
So ordered.
Next case, page 30, Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 240800420, case address 2639 South Northwest 20th Street, numbers 1 and 2, owner Marie A. Juzma. This case was first heard 211.25 to comply by 311.25. One section not complied at $50 per day, $3,150 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount, and the fines continue to accrue.
So ordered.
Next case, Inspector Jessica Martinez, case number CE 240700791, case address 813 Northwest 17th Street, owner Vina J. Wright and Dennis Harlan Bosma and all others. This case was first heard at 130.25 to comply by 29.25 and 227.25. Three sections not complied at $100 per day, $24,300 accrued. The city is requesting the full amount, and the fines continue to accrue.
So ordered.
Next case, page 40, Inspector Karen Proto, case number CE 240400246, case address 2300 Northwest 15th Court, owner Islanders Homes Investment LLC. This case was first heard 114.25 to comply by 513.25. One section not complied at $50 per day. Fine start 514.25, and this was in order to reappear.
Okay. Says here the city's requesting a finding of fact because of the recurring nature.
That was already heard.
That was already done?
When it came to new business,
Okay.
the fines are fines start tomorrow.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay, so the fines will start accruing tomorrow.
The city is requesting to enter pages 41 and 42 into today's hearing as an exhibit. It is the city's list of complied, closed, withdrawn, and rescheduled cases.
So ordered.
This concludes the special magistrate hearing agenda for Tuesday, May 13th, 2025.